What's good, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Writer's Room. Today, we are discussing, kind of doing a recap of the previous episode 7 of Power Book Force. And this is the second season, of course. You guys, I was sick last week. I could not get that. As much as I wanted to get that recap in, I couldn't get it. But don't worry, it was a cute episode. The most important thing that did happen was Vic took out the Fed. We know that is big time. So Vic is either going to have to serve some time, or he's going to have to give up some real information about Tommy Egan. So that was pretty much episode 7 warped into this small brief summary that I just did. Let's move on to this explosive episode. This episode does not disappoint, and it starts off with a bang. We start off exactly where we ended off in the last episode, which was your boy Vic and Tommy. This is post shooting up the Fed guy, and Tommy starts searching Vic's car and Tommy's car, of course, and it was like, we have to find a tracker device. And of course, Vic has the tracker device. So Vic ends up acting all surprised. Oh my God, what the heck? He's really surprised right here. Tommy is just not himself, because he would have been clocked him. The original Tommy would have been clocked Vic, and that he was a snitch. But moving along, we get this scene with Tommy and Maria, and this is a very important scene, though at first it may seem like a filler, but this is the scene where Maria pretty much gives all trust to Tommy, because Tommy is basically like, I'm not going to lie to you like I lied to everybody else and lied to my previous lovers. Like, I want to make sure that I'm upfront. So if you want to know something, make sure that you truly want to know it, because I'm going to tell you the truth. So Maria lets down her guard and says that she's going to a quinceañera. Now, she mentions that the quinceañera is actually Jay's daughter. We know that Jay is Miguel's supplier, and Miguel right now is the plug. He's got the connect, so he's pretty much the go-to, but Tommy is trying to squeeze Miguel out and become the entire plug for the city. So he's using this moment, and you'll see it later on. He's gonna use this moment to try to weasel his way in between Miguel and Jay. Now, in this scene, this was the scene that led me to believe that I was going to get my hopes and dreams ripped straight out of my heart and into the core of the earth, because I just knew something was going to happen to Leon, but I am skipping ahead. This scene is with your boy Diamond, and this is after he, courts Leon's mom. I was a bit confused, because I thought that she had made her way over to Diamond's house in the last episode. So the jump over to her house and her cooking him grits and stuff, that was a leap. But we have Diamond talking to her, and she lets him know that it's cool kicking it with you, and I like hanging out with you, and when the do, but I need to make sure that Leon is protected at all times. And I just knew coming from this conversation that things were going to go downhill for this relationship. Now, moving on to the next scene, we see that Vic is shaking in his boots because he gets roped up by the feds again. Stacy and the lieutenant, they are pissed off, as they should be, because one of their own was found. I mean, heinous crime. You would have thought the Law and Order song came on. But Stacy is not playing with Vic. She lets him know everything that happened, and that Vic's neck is on the line, that he is about to go to jail for, or shall I say prison, for capital murder. That means he is going to prison for life. In this case, Stacy does not want to hear anything about Tommy and him making a deal with the DSDs. At this point, she wants to nail Tommy to this murder of Vargas. Stacy is completely over Tommy making a fool out of her and running amok through the city. So she tells the lieutenant, which of course we know is her husband, that she wants to band together and she wants to make an example out of this situation. So she's like, F the warrants, F doing things the right way. Let's just bust into these places and find the evidence that we need ourselves. Going on to the next scene, we have Tommy and Diamond. Tommy is updating Diamond on what happened last night, that Vargas was taken out and that he was following him. Diamond's like, well, how did he know where you would be at? Tommy tells him that there was a tracker found in Vic's car. Now, the way that Tommy's reaction was right here, it was kind of suspicious to me. I couldn't tell why Tommy reacted in that way. Put down in the comments below what you think Tommy was thinking of in that moment. Why did he make that reaction when he was telling Diamond about the tracker in Vic's car? But other than that, Tommy is just letting Diamond know, hey, we need you in this next meeting. Don't play around, like, just come. So they are really making moves in the city, and Tommy tells him, I'm going to this quinceañera and I'm making it shake. We're about to be the plug. Now transitioning over to Claudia and Shanti. I absolutely love Shanti. I love how her character has kind of developed into this boss girl. I mean, she's playing no games, but Claudia came to her and told her that, hey, I have acquired more territory and you need me. I don't need you. I was good. I am good right now with CBI. You need me, and you're going to have to realize that. So basically, she sunned Claudia, and Claudia gets sunned a couple of times throughout this episode, but this was the first time that she realized, damn, not only am I getting sunned by men, but this woman just came in and commanded my entire organization, or my entire setup is dependent upon her and her people. So Claudia is back at square one. Now remember earlier in the episode, Stacy told the lieutenant that she is not playing any fair games anymore because these people on the streets are not playing fair. So she stops Tommy, and of course Tommy is midway eating, as he always is. But in this scene, I didn't catch it the first time, but I think on this second time when I caught it, Stacy is really just fishing right now, as Tommy said. But you can see in this picture, Stacy is actually looking for evidence within Tommy's car to connect him to Vargas's murder. So this is her way of looking into his car, looking into his belongings without him really noticing or giving her the okay or approval of doing so. And then she also shows him the picture that Vargas snapped of him and Maria in the car that time. I believe that was like the second episode of the season. And I think she's just doing this to show Tommy that she has something over him. She even mentions that just wait until Miguel finds out that you are digging his little sister. Not only are you digging her, but you are digging in her. She may be informing him about him creeping with Maria, because she knows that, hey, if anything, Miguel is going to be the death of you and I don't even have to try. So you know Tommy's head is on a swivel at this point. So he goes to visit Vic, which is in this next scene. We see that Vic is thinking about leaving, and then he drops everything and was like, you know what, I'm not going to leave. And in this scene, he actually throws Jannard under the bus and tells Tommy that Jannard is working with Claudia because Claudia, he's been having people on her, basically his security. Vic is still protecting Claudia, although he made it seem like he wasn't. But we see that Claudia went to Jannard with a proposal, and he told Tommy about this. Tommy is pissed off, and he starts to suspect that maybe Jannard is the snitch. Meanwhile, Diamond's PO comes into the barbershop and reminds Diamond that he is still a thug. But he does tell him there is some hope. I do believe that you are changing, but don't make a fool of me. Diamond has kind of been going through it with these internal emotions. I love seeing him think in this episode about his next move, because he's constantly being compared to his past self. So throughout this episode, you can see that Diamond is going through this inner monologue the whole time, up until the very end where he finally releases his thoughts. So we'll get to that. I don't want to jump too far ahead. Moving along, we get this very, very important conversation, and this is a pivotal moment in this episode where Miguel finds out from the leader of the DSD crew that not only am I still not effing with you, Miguel, but I'm actually working for you indirectly, because I am getting my product from Tommy, the white kid, you know that. And Miguel starts shaking. Miguel's eyes start twitching. He's over it. He at this moment knows that Tommy is trying to squeeze him out of this. He's trying to ice him out of the business, and Tommy has betrayed him. So I can only imagine what he's going to do when he finds out that Tommy is with Maria. Going back to Tommy, we see that he took that thought about Jannard being a snitch and completely ran with it, because he sees Jannard and it's on site for Tommy. But Jannard tells him, I'm not working with Claudia. You should be really worried about Vic Flynn. So when Tommy tells him, I don't care about Vic Flynn, let me worry about that. I don't trust you. The wheels are turning in Jannard's head, and you can see that Jannard is starting to come back. I really love that slowly but surely he's adding better clothing. because we know that he was looking really mangy a couple of episodes ago when he was on that stuff. But now he's starting to put on a collared shirt. He looks a little bit more clean. So Jannard is starting to have the same thought and intensity that Shanti is having towards Tommy because he just got sunned by Tommy. Transitioning to another scene of undermining someone's intelligence and power is Mirkovich to Claudia. Mirkovich goes into Claudia's home and undermines her right there in her home, and she's reminded of where she was with her dad. Claudia is back. I mean, this whole episode, Claudia has unfortunately realized that she is the B-side. You are not the A-side in this situation. You need Mirkovich because you need his protection. So you will give him half of your, profits in these other ventures and businesses that you have, whether they're on the north side or south side or whatever side. And so as Mirkovich is leaving Claudia's spot, he is told by his right-hand man that Tommy and Diamond are about to meet with the SODs, and they're going to strike a deal with them so that the SODs will come to them for product instead of Mirkovich. Now, everybody has heard around the city that Mirkovich is now cut off. So when they hear this, Mirkovich goes off and is like, oh, we gonna meet at the spot. So when Tommy, Vic, and Jannard get to the spot to SODs to meet with them, of course, Tommy is expecting Diamond, but we know that Diamond decides to make the fatal decision to help out Leon, and we'll talk about that. I know I skipped over that scene. So when Tommy, Jannard, and Vic are meeting with the SODs, and right when they were, at the height of discussing it, Mirkovich comes in blasting, and not just his men, Mirkovich comes in there blasting, and unfortunately one of the SODs were shot down, and that's when the leader was like, you know what, whatever you guys have going, I want to be a part of it. I want to be involved. If that means going against the Serbs and making a war with them, having numbers on our side, I'm down. Now, we know that before that, Tommy was almost capped in that scene because one of the Serbs has snuck up behind Tommy, and Jannard had the perfect shot, the perfect time to get rid of Tommy. But Jannard wants that slow death for Tommy. He wants to take away everything. He wants to be in Tommy's position. He wants his spot back in CBI beside his brother. So he decided that it would be the perfect moment to build a trust with Tommy, and he did take out that guy that was trying to kill Tommy. Very briefly, we do see that Kate is alive and well as far as well can be for Kate, but she tells JP that you guys got rid of my only grandson, so no, I'm not well, and yes, I did break my sobriety. And JP does fall and tell Kate, I think this is a grave mistake for him to tell Kate that D-Mac is alive and we just got rid of him because we needed to protect him from a situation that we were dealing with. I don't know, it didn't sit right with me telling Kate, with seeing how bad she is in this moment. Going back to Diamond, we know that Diamond had been struggling internally this entire episode with wanting to be the guy that Leon can look up to, because Leon doesn't have any male role models in his life that he can truly look up to. Write down in the comments if you think that at one point Diamond was Leon, and maybe that is why he gravitates towards his energy and wanting to be around him and wanting to be around his mom and just shield and protect him and make sure that he makes it to the next level and not be what Diamond had became. As we get to the next scene with Leon, we see that he goes to the barbershop, to get ready with Diamond. And you can tell and look in his eyes, and he loves to hear Diamond's advice. That's what he's, adhering to every single word that he's saying, because Diamond is that male role model that Leon has been looking for. Although Diamond has a past, and Leon is aware of that, Diamond is somebody that actually cares about his well-being and is pushing him. And you can tell that Diamond is excited. Like, I think having Leon in Diamond's life brought more clarity to Diamond. And so when we get to the next part, where, Diamond is like, I'm proud of you. And you could tell Leon just wants him to be proud. Like, he wants to make him proud even more. So when those guys come up to him, the guys that constantly bully him, and he starts to fight, and he's like, Diamond, look, I did this, I did that. And he let his guard down. And I knew Leon was, that precious soul was going to be taken away from us. gosh, the writers are cruel people because this was just not fun to watch. So that's really why I'm trying to skate past this part. But we know that his mom came later on and she was completely distraught, as she should have been. I hate that, she blamed Diamond for what happened, because in a way it was, partly on Diamond for not stopping Leon. Like, Diamond wanted Leon to fight on his own, and he shouldn't have even been fighting with those kids. Obviously it's supposed to be a defense, last resort, but Diamond didn't stop it, and because of that, he wasn't close enough to stop the gun from going off and taking out Leon, and his mom blames him. So you can see that this triggers something in Diamond, and he's going downhill, but in the most villainous, greatest way for a villain to go downhill. Going back to Tommy, I played him in this still shot, but going back to Tommy and Jannard, we know that they finally had a good resolution with the SODs, and the SODs have decided to be a part of their team. Jannard is like, I need an apology. I need a thank you, some type of gratitude for me saving your life. And Tommy, this, like I said, gains the trust of Tommy. But they're basically like, look, the feds are on us, so you need to watch your back. Of the people that he needs to watch his back from, it is your girl Shanti, which I am loving the dynamic in the relationship between Claudia and Shanti. It just seems like it works. You have Claudia trying to be, a boss chick, and you have Shanti who lacks resources but is a boss chick. So you put the person with the resources and the boss together, you're getting dynamics. But anyways, we know that Claudia breaks it down to Shanti that the Serbs want in on the gig that both of them have gone into, and Shanti's like, damn, like, I already don't have enough profit as it is. My percentage is some bull crap. But Shanti does change her mind and decides to lay low and was like, you know what, that's fine, we'll keep the Serbs in. When she did that, I knew Shanti had something else up her sleeve. So when Shanti goes to meet up with Jannard later on, she does let him know, I'm working with Claudia, and not only did I take Claudia up on her deal, but we are also, indirectly working with the Serbs. And Jannard is like, no, this cannot happen. If Tommy finds out, we are gone. And Shanti's like, that's fine, I have a plan. And from the looks of this facial expression, I think Shanti is about to cause hell for Tommy and the CBI crew. Moving along, we get this long scene with Miguel, Maria, Che, which I found out his name is not Jay, it is Che. I said Jay earlier. Why didn't y'all stop me? Anyways, but we also have the grandmother as well. Tommy barges in. Now, the grandmother and Che are talking. You could tell that Che has a lot of respect for the grandmother. She is the original gangster, at least her husband was, and she kind of, took over the reins before giving it to Miguel. Now, Che, when he sees Tommy, he's like, what's going on here? Miguel has already put his grandma on game that the DSDs are working with Tommy now, and it seems like Tommy is trying to push me out of the business. The grandmother is like, I've been told you this. So when Tommy showed up, Miguel was hot. Miguel was so upset, but he couldn't do anything about it. And matter of fact, when Tommy went to Che and told him, oh, I'm making so much money, I managed to put all these groups together, you can see Che is thinking like, interesting, you seem like a guy that I really need to do business with. And even through like the gift for his daughter, he gave it to Miguel like he was some type of flunky. That should have been the first sign that Miguel needed to cause some damage. This bold move pisses Maria off because now she feels like she's just been used. Like everything that she has just been, everything that she's told Tommy has been used against her and against her brother. At the end of the day, Maria loves her brother, and yes, she'll do some, grimy stuff like being with somebody within the crew, but being with somebody that is actively going against her brother, and actively trying to push him out of business on top of like the disrespect. So Maria has had it up to here. She put on her best Chi-Town girl attitude and told Tommy off. So Tommy said he's gonna just chill and back off of it. We'll see how this ends and if Maria goes back to Tommy. Now, once Maria does drive off and go back home, we see Stacy is still making her runs. She is now going to Maria and threatening Maria low key, like, look, you're gonna end up dying messing around with Tommy. Ask him about Lakeisha Grant. Now, she did threaten Maria by saying that you are going to be in a RICO case. This did not make Maria bat an eye, but when she said something about Lakeisha Grant, I think Maria is going to be completely turned off from Tommy when she hears about what's been happening to his previous girlfriends. But there is a break in the case that Stacy makes, and it is Vargas's notebook. Vargas was very meticulous and detailed when he was writing notes, specifically about when he was meeting up with Vic. It's like he knew that this was not the right move to make, and I hate that he ended up going on account of Stacy and her horrible leadership. But this is something that is a big break for them, and she finds out that Vargas was exactly where he was supposed to be. He was right there meeting up with Vic. So something is off, and Vic is either going to go to jail or he's going to rat on Tommy. Speaking of Tommy and going back to his spot, we see Jannard and Shanti have met up with him, and this was all a part of Shanti's plan and Shanti's doing, which was to make sure that Tommy has full trust in them. So she goes to him and tells him, hey, I've been working with Claudia low-key. Jannard had nothing to do with it. I just told him this today. We wanted to make sure that there were no surprises with you, that we're all good. And she tells Tommy that I was just working with Claudia because I knew that you had it out for her. I was going to bring her, serve her up to you on a dinner plate. And Tommy's like, no, keep working with Claudia. Keep working with the Serbs. I want you to tell me every detail about them. So Shanti has him exactly where she wants him. Now we go to Diamond's PO and we see that Leon's I just want to go off on this man. But we see that his no good for nothing dad goes to the PO and tells him, hey, there's something you should know about Diamond. He is making a fool out of you. And you know the PO does not like being made a fool of. He's been saying this the past 3 episodes. Do not make me look like a fool. Do not make me look stupid out here in these streets. And Diamond has been doing that, but he picked the wrong time to go to Diamond's barbershop. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Now, briefly going back to Vic, we see that Vic is hemmed up by Stacy and her crew, and her husband is trying to stop her from, basically leading the witness on. And she's making Vic say that either Tommy, got off the Fed or Vic was the one who shot him down. And we see that Vic ended up choosing himself and was like, I seen Tommy do this. So Stacy has exactly what she wanted out of Vic, and I just don't know if this is going to end well for Vic. Yeah, you might be good with the feds, but are you going to be good on the street? Let's talk about that, Vic. And now that Tommy has confirmed with his lawyer that does all the snooping within the police departments and everything that is on his payroll, now that he's confirmed that there is a snitch because all of the walls are up, I can't get any information. And that just means that there is probably an informant more than likely going on in your crew, and you should see about that. Tommy thinks about it and was like, okay, I gotta go get and tell Diamond. I gotta tell everybody to be on the lookout. And we know that Diamond is at the barbershop drunk. He is sitting in his own self-pity. And we know that his crew comes in and was like, hey, Tommy told us to get off the street. Diamond is irate and tells him, leave everything here. Just go, get out of the barbershop. So when Tommy pulls up and he sees all of the drugs and money on the floor, Tommy is like, bro, you are tripping. And realizes that this is not the same Diamond that I had been talking to. This is not the same controlled Diamond that I know of. So when we see the PO come in, I knew there was trouble. When the PO came in and told Diamond, I knew you were nothing. I knew you were no good and you made a fool out of me. Tommy tried to warn him and tell him this is not the right time. I would not step foot close to him. I think with the PO pulling out those handcuffs, it infuriated Diamond and really brought him back to a point in his life. Something happened in that prison. Obviously, there are a lot of horrible things that go on in the prison system, but whatever it was, Diamond was not here for it, because Diamond reaches across with his razor blade that I didn't even know that he had in his hand, and he lets that PO have it. He slits him, okay? Slits his neck like, I don't know, like the Joker, okay? He was not playing any games, and Tommy has this smile on his face, this smirk. You would have thought that Tommy was like a proud dad, like, oh my God, I knew you had it in you. Like, we're about to be on top. It's like Tommy in his head seeing Diamond fall to that type of level really meant that he's at the top of his villain era. And Tommy has been looking for a partner that is equal to him, that is equally yoked to him, meaning that is just as ruthless as he is and does what he has to do in order to uphold his business. You guys, this was such an explosive episode and quite sad. I don't know, I left the episode feeling defeated. I kind of felt like Diamond. I was defeated in the moment, thinking about Leon and thinking about his character and where his character was supposed to go. We are accustomed to the chill Diamond, the Diamond that is very nonchalant, that gets business done but handles it in the most peaceful way. And we're about to see somebody, we're about to witness a new Diamond, a new beginning of power. So I think this is a really, really good place to begin season 3 at, with Diamond and this new persona that he's taking on, with Tommy finding out about the snitch. And I am afraid for Vic when Tommy actually finds out. Even more so, I'm afraid for Tommy and Maria when Miguel finds out about them too. So write in the comments down below, what do you think about this episode? How much longer do you think that Maria and Tommy can hide their relationship from Miguel? And do you think that Maria will take into consideration what Stacy brought to her and ask Tommy about Lakeisha? And what do you think about Diamond's new persona? He's going beast mode on everybody, and I cannot wait to see it. Just like Shanti, just like Jannard. Hopefully Jannard gets back to where he was supposed to be at. But I'm excited for the next episode and the finale, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Writer's Room, and I will see you next time on The Writer's Room.